Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report, powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today in our People of Pickleball episode, we speak with Joseph R. Gannascoli, who played Vito Spatafore on The Sopranos, and he's a pickleball fanatic. We talk all things pickleball, plus Joe's incredible life, everything from being a chef to being a novelist, obviously an actor, pickleballer, racquetball guy, you name it. He's got his own vodka. So we get into it. All right, but before that, if you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out all the links in the description. Check out our newsletter, our new website, and our merch page. All right, let's get to that conversation with Joe.
All right, hey, we've got Joe. Welcome, finally, man, to the Senior Pickleball Report. Good to have you.
All right, Sleevesy. Can I call you Sleevesy?
You can call me whatever you want. Sleazy, Mike. I got a ton of names,
I like
man.
Sleevesy. So thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so obviously we got a ton that we can cover here. You've got quite the background, very sort of Renaissance, man. You do it all. We'll get into your acting and you're a chef, and obviously you represent a bunch of different types of brands, and you got your own vodka. But first, obviously, it's a pickleball channel, man. So let's find out how this crazy, goofy wiffle ball game came into your life.
Yeah, so growing up in Brooklyn, I played paddleball, and then racquetball became the hot sensation. I played racquetball. I continue to this day, and I'm talking like, in my teens up until now. So now I play racquetball on weekends. It's not as popular as the gym I went to had 16 courts. Now they're down to 2. So I still play on weekends, and during the week, I work out, and I was passing these ladies, and they said, "Oh, we only have 3 for pickleball," and they had like a net set up on the basketball court, and it wasn't even like regulation; it was just a matter of them hitting the ball back and forth. And I said, "Oh, I'll play with you." And so there was the 4 of us, and they had some kind of goofy paddle. But, I was hitting the ball back and forth. I wasn't really hitting it, but I was actually was able to spin it because, I know that feeling. And I said, "Oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of like this." And since then, it's just about a year now that I started.
Oh,
And when I get into something like I did that with golf. Once I had this is going to be a long thing, but I don't know, if your viewers might be Soprano fans or you Sleeves. I walked very bad on the show. I was an athlete most of my life, and then gained weight, my hips went. And so once they killed me, I had my hips double hip replacement same day, and I started playing golf. I was doing a movie actually where I had playing golf, and I started hitting the ball between takes. I was like, oh man, I could like rotate, I could swing, I could, So I became obsessed with golf. I played every day. I walked the course, and so that's the way I became a pickleball. I became obsessed. I watch every video I can. I didn't take lessons because, I knew the rudimentary, I want to learn the rules and so on. But, I'm a ball player, so I know how to, follow through and hit a ball.
yeah.
And so I watch videos. I played as much as I can. Like yesterday, I played 3 different times, 3 different places. My wife said this morning, "What are you going with shorts on? It's 20 degrees out." I go, I'm going to get in the car and then I'm going to go and get inside the gym. But I lost 100 pounds playing pickleball. So I've definitely, elevated my game. There's something to go, all right, you're over there. There's very good players, 3-5-4, 2-5-3. So I was always like in a 2-5-3. And within the last couple of months, maybe I sort of now play with the good players, They know I can handle myself.
Yeah.
So that's where it's at.
Yeah. You're an athlete, so you've played ball sports before. It sounds like most of your life, and obviously, if you played racquetball, which is a high speed game, um, hand eye coordination is not a problem for you, which is fantastic. And a wiffle ball is a slower game anyway, so you probably are going to advance pretty quickly in this game, I would think.
Yeah. Uh, in racquetball, I'm more of a touch player. I play close to the front. In pickle, I do have a hard serve. I've mastered really a hard serve, but and I do like banging the ball more in pickleball, but again, you do need soft hands, especially playing at the line. And I
Yeah.
do like to touch it because where everybody's banging it, when they back it up, I like to just dink it right over.
Yeah.
I find it frustrating for them, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice because you can mix it up. Obviously, if you need power, you can generate that. But I find too that most people, at least is the way the game is starting to develop because of the power of these paddles. That if you can hit some decent touch shots on people, especially people as we all get older, people don't move forward that well or back, and you can move them around. I think that's kind of the key to success in this game. If you can kind of keep folks off balance, and if you have good touch, yeah, that goes a long way.
Yeah, and if I bang it, it's usually an angle. Now, I mean, I've fell 3 times, twice. Uh, well, once I didn't get hurt. Twice, one time, my hand sort of got it's sore. It took a long time to heal.
Yeah.
And one time, the last time, I braced myself. I know I have something torn. I can't move a certain way on my left
Uh,
shoulder. That's the only bad thing that it's so annoying that because sometimes in the gym when I'm lifting and I want to do a certain thing, I just can't do it. Yeah, it's really
yeah.
annoying. So eventually, I'm going to have that look. I've been holding off on the MRI, but I have a feeling it's either
Yeah.
torn or slightly torn. I was hoping it would heal, but I don't know. So that's the thing. I've seen people go down. I've seen people, everybody knows somebody, right? Torn Achilles,
Oh,
broken
for
rib.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Orthopedic surgeons say pickleball is the new CrossFit. There's always somebody coming in for surgery
Yeah.
or something that they've dinged. And mainly
Yeah.
because the sport, when you watch it looks pretty benign. Like, this is pretty simple. But when you're out there, man, it's actually pretty physical as far as lateral movement, staying in athletic position. And it's easy to lose your balance because you're reaching and lunging a lot in this game to try and just cover that little small court. So I
Yeah.
fell the other day too.
When I watch pickleball, I don't see many people playing my age, on TV. And
Yeah.
the people I play with, some of them are in really good shape, and some of them are young. But a lot of them are older guys that
Yeah.
I give them credit for being out there. But maybe they don't. It's usually the lobs over the head that get to them. You know, so,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's lobs over the
Yeah.
head. And oddly enough, I don't really see the pros when I watch it on TV using the lob. That's weird. I mean,
Yeah. Hard
maybe
to
once
lob
in a
over
while.
guys that are that. Yeah. They're so athletic that
Yeah.
you got to have it quick and fast.
Yeah, that's probably why, because it really is not an effective shot. They get to it
Yeah.
and they return it. Me, I'm hoping that it
Yeah.
goes out. When I see the lob.
That's how I am too. I start blowing that direction even.
Yeah.
So, Joe, I mean, you seem to have a knack for, I've kind of looked into your world a little bit preparing for this interview. You have a knack for kind of getting involved in things that are cultural phenomenons. Obviously, pickleball being what it is and how it's starting to take off. You seem to have a nose for it a little bit. And, being on arguably the greatest show in television history is another place where you sort of have been involved in a cultural phenomenon. So tell me how that works. How do you get involved in a world like that and then end up on, you know, probably the greatest television show in history?
Well, Sleeves, I always say that number one, I'm blessed and I'm right time, right place,
Yeah.
lucky, and I made my own breaks.
Mhm.
Um, so briefly, I was a chef before an actor, and
Yeah.
it's something about like me learning on my own. You know what I mean? I guess I just like to learn on my own. I don't take lessons in anything, and I didn't go to culinary school. I didn't go to acting school, but I was in the restaurant business, and I dropped out of college. I don't know how I wound up in a Manhattan kitchen, New York City, but my cooking background is French. And I wanted to learn
Ah.
French because I knew Italian and I wanted to broaden my repertoire. So to be more, well rounded, and at a young age, like 21.
Yeah,
And
for
so I
sure.
kicked around some kitchens in Manhattan, some French kitchens, which I found interesting and, stuff that I never grew up in Brooklyn like having. And I had an opportunity
Yeah.
to move to New Orleans. So at that time, early 80s, like Cajun cooking in New York was like all the rage, Paul Prudhomme, so on. So I lived in New Orleans for 3.5
Yeah.
years. And I said, well, I'll learn, New Orleans cooking again, broaden my repertoire. Came back, opened,
Yeah.
I became my chef for the first time. I was 24. And 6, 7 years later, me and a couple of my friends, we opened up a restaurant, which became very popular, very busy. And I was making a ton of money. But I have a little demon inside that likes action with sports. And so I'm like what they call OCD. So I'm a degenerate
Okay.
gambler. I hate to say degenerate gambler. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I mean, listen, I've been battling this for like 50 years. I go months, years without playing. Then all of a sudden, I'm like back in it. And so I
Sure.
got in over my head. I lost a lot of money one Sunday and cashed out in the restaurant, moved to LA to pursue acting. And that's a whole
Wow.
different story. But I kicked around, and I'm a hustler. Like I'm always trying to, you know, break it into the acting world without like a name or somebody helping you is kind of hard. And I kind of
Yeah,
just
to say the least.
use my Brooklyn smarts, which I'm always glad I was raised in Brooklyn, because there's guys that are on the street, but that are sharp guys, and they just know
Yeah.
angles.
Yeah.
And not that I did anything bad or anything, but I sort of got myself recognized and made friends and got started in the business. Got a couple of roles, made a couple of
Yeah.
friends, and before you know it, when I moved back to New York, a couple of friends, remembered me and got me in movies, and I happened to be the Soprano casting directors, and they cast me. I'm only
Wow.
I'm only really the one, and again, your viewers might know this. A lot of them do. I played two different roles on the show
Yeah.
with a different name. In the bakery
That's
scene, I
right.
was
Yes.
Gino. You remember, and a couple of lines. Christopher shoots the kid in the foot. I was Gino trying to get bread and pastries, and for some reason, they brought me back as Vito. So I was blessed in
Okay.
that respect. And again, you know, I use my how am I going to get ahead here? How am I going to get recognized? So season 2, when they brought me back as Vito, a couple episodes. Season 3, I got to kill Jackie Jr. in the final episode, which was cool. Season
Okay.
4, I didn't want to be just a background guy with a few lines, because now this is like,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's watching the show. It's like hugely popular. And I was reading a book called Murder Machine, True Story. And it was about a Brooklyn bar where this crew hung out. And this guy, Roy DeMeo, was responsible for a lot of mob killings for the Gambinos.
Yeah.
but a guy in his crew was gay, and
Okay.
the bell went off in my head, and I went, "Whoa, that's kind of interesting. That's like you never see something like
Right.
that in a mob show." And me,
Right.
I was always comfortable with gays because working in New Orleans and in Manhattan, it's all gay waiters. You know, a lot of gay
Yeah.
waiters. Didn't say all. So I had no problem, like portraying. Plus, again, I wanted a challenge, as like French cooking is a challenge, learning it and the self-taught actor, playing a gay guy.
Yes.
I mean, listen, if I'm the only thing gay about me is like I'm a lesbian. I love broads, so I
Put them.
so
They've been here all week,
I
folks.
I suggested it to one of the writers. I didn't, not David Chase. I you got to take him
Yeah.
aside. You got to do it on the QT. You can't be like in front of the other actors. Hey, it'd be
Yeah.
great for my character. So I said very,
Right.
I said, listen, I'm reading a book. It's a true story. I think it'd be kind of interesting. I'd be willing to do it. I gave it a book, and I didn't hear anything for about a year and a half, and then. But the way that my role was portrayed, they made it out. It's not what I had in mind. The security guard, I was on the wrong end of that deal, but it changed my life. So it was the best thing that ever
Right.
happened to me. And the whole point of doing that was to show I can act and hopefully get more roles when, if and then,
Yeah.
my end came or the show. And it sort of happened, but not the way I had envisioned it. But again, it opened up a lot of doors for me. I mean, I published a cookbook novel. I became spokesperson for different companies. And so it opened a lot of doors and so on. So that's it in a
Yeah.
nutshell there, Sleeves.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no pun intended, but most people would kill to have those opportunities. And you, like you said, you, you create angles, you see things. You're a master at networking. Is really what they would use in today's language. Like, what people to talk to, when to talk to them, and how to do it. And that's an art because those people are generally, are the ones that ultimately kind of create the life that they want in some regards. And you've created several lives in many different avenues, obviously, and you're still doing it, which is great because I think a lot of folks just kind of say, well, this is who I am, and I'm just going to grind it out until this is all over. And but not you, and I appreciate that because I'm the same way. I could have been a salesperson when I got out of college, and I could have, then I went into teaching, and I could have been a teacher for the rest of my life, and I taught for 12 years and enjoyed it. But then I gave all that up, and I got rid of my stuff, and my wife and I moved and live off grid now in a yurt with our cats, in the middle of nowhere, and then people are like, well, that's Mike, and then it's like, now he's got a pickleball channel. So it's sort of this evolving character that we're developing. And that's why I enjoy talking to folks like yourself, because you're not done. You're never done. You keep creating and you keep challenging yourself. And you're doing cool things. And it's entertaining for the rest of us that aren't doing those things sometimes as well. And it's admirable because obviously, not everybody can write a book. Not everybody can be a chef. Not everybody can be an actor, and not everybody can take up golf, pickleball, racquetball, and paddleball and teach themselves and be successful at them. So I guess my question is like, what's next?
Hey, it's me, Sleeves, asking you to please stop by the all-new online hub for Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report at SleevesSPR.com. This fresh and vibrant website is your one-stop destination for everything related to Sleeves' immersive pickleball world. Here, fans can access the latest episodes of our podcast, comprehensive product reviews, engaging blog posts, and so much more. We've designed this space to cater to all your pickleball needs, making it easier than ever to stay connected with the community and the sport. So swing by and explore our rich content, and remember, let's pickle. Join us for an exciting pickleball cruise to Ensenada, where enthusiasts of all skill levels can connect, compete, and relax on the open seas. Set sail for a unique vacation experience that combines the thrill of pickleball with breathtaking ocean views. Participants will enjoy daily matches, clinics with expert coaches, and plenty of time to unwind and explore. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or simply enjoy a fun-filled getaway with fellow pickleball lovers, this cruise offers something for everyone. Don't miss your chance to make unforgettable memories while playing the game you love on a beautiful coastal adventure. For more details, visit the Pickleball International website. The link is on the screen and in the description. Let's pickle.
Are you looking for news that is both informative and inspiring? Look no further than STM Daily News. We provide stories and articles that provide insight without any sensationalism, doom and gloom, or partisan politics. With STM Daily News, you can stay up to date on what matters most in everyday life. Get informed, inspired, and stay in the know with STM Daily News. That's stmdailynews.com. The link is in the description.
What's next?
Well, a few things, but just to go back a little bit to show you, the hustle and always thinking and always being creative.
Yeah.
When I wrote a cookbook novel, first of all, I didn't write it. I told a ghostwriter the story, and he shaped it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's a writer. But
Sure.
I didn't even have a book written. I can't write. I don't know how to write. So, but I read in the New York Post, a newspaper that's here in New York. There's a page 6, and page 6 was all like little gossip, like this person was seen here, and little blurbs of column, like little, not just a line, but like a little story. Page 6, very famous. And
Yeah.
I planted a story there. I'm trying to remember now, it's so long, back maybe 04, 05. I planted a story
20
that
years
I
ago.
was shopping my manuscript for a book, and I was getting a lot of different offers and so on, but none of that was true. I didn't even have a book. I had nothing.
Yeah.
Just an idea and a title in my brain. And sure enough, someone, how did they find me? Somehow they emailed me, and it was an editor, and said, "Hey, before you make a deal, I'd like to tell me what it's about." And I said, "Well, listen, can I come in and see you? I'll talk to you face to face." And I went in there and I said, "Look, I got to be honest with you. I don't have a book. I have an idea for a book.
Yeah.
But I know I'm going to have a big season on The Sopranos. And if you could hook me up with a ghostwriter, I'll tell them the stories. It's a cookbook novel. I have all the recipes. It'll be interesting. And it's a great story, loosely based on my life of a chef who wants to be great.
Yeah.
That's a degenerate gambler. And he's chasing after broads all the time." And I said, "That's me."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Okay." And I said, "It's a meal to die for." So that's how I got the book done. Then
That's genius,
one other
Joe.
thing. I got an NFL licensed product. And you go to, and I went to so many trade shows, NFL licensing show, and anything you can imagine is licensed. I mean, from bottle openers to burn marks on pancakes or steaks with your team, so on. So I have a water container, a 5-gallon water container that you see in an office or a home. The reason why we got it, because we had a little white Maltese, and the iron in the water made the eyes turn black underneath, like red, from the iron.
Yeah, right.
So my wife hated that, so she said, "We got to get water so we could give the dog for water." I said, "Okay." And I'm looking at it, and I go, "You know what? That bottle's so ugly. It'd be nice to put a cover over it with my team on it, which is the Giants." And I researched it, and I'm friends with the New York Giants because I'm a huge, hardcore Giants fan. And they hooked me up with the NFL licensing. And the NFL licensing hooked me up with a guy who manufactures in New York, like, material. And it was a sleeve. It's called Skins. It's a sleeve that goes over the bottle. So it was very successful.
Yeah.
Well, I got it made, I should say. And then I did a charity.
Yeah.
I was invited to a charity, and they were honoring like the vice president for Home Depot. And I went,
Okay.
I said, "If this guy's a fan, I know I'm in." I go over to him, and he goes, "Vito." And I go, his name is Joe. And he was vice president. I said, look, I just got to show you something. This is a cover. Goes over 5-gallon water. I know you got 5-gallon waters in Home Depot. It fits over a propane tank. I said, I want to get it into your stores. He goes, I'm going to set you up with somebody. So that's how that happened. I mean, so, I'm a hustler.
Yeah,
So
and a very good one.
and it's just like I always ask somebody what they do. Now, so you got me ask me what's going on. Actually, next month, March 14th, I'm going to be doing sort of in Boca Raton, this theater. And this is where I met Rick. Rick.
Rick Redemar, from Boca Raton Picklers. He's one of the owners.
Yeah, I don't know how I was staying in Boca, and I always Google pickleball courts near me. Like I did it the first time I didn't do it. I didn't take my paddle, and I was in North Carolina. My friend Joe, who went from Home Depot now to Lowe's, I went to the pickleball courts there. They were beautiful, but I had no paddle, and I was trying to borrow a paddle. And, I'm in North Carolina. Not many of them recognize the Soprano. Yeah. I was like, oh, what's the deal over here? People have like TVs here or what? I says, Vito on the Sopranos. So I've wound up borrowing the paddle. I did it for like 4 days in a row. I go, I'll never travel without a paddle. So whenever I go somewhere, I always Google pickleball courts near me. And then for some reason, I came across Boca Raton pickleballers. And I was like, hey, I would like to meet with you guys, hang out, hit the ball, play. And Rick responded. We finally hooked up. So that's how we introduced me and you. Rick is a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah. Oh, great guy.
So I was warming up with this guy in the courts where Rick plays it in Boca. And, he's saying he's a producer, works for News Nation, but his wife runs a theater in Boca Raton, 300-seat theater. And he was handing out the cards, and I see The Office trivia show. And I go, you know what? I do this Soprano trivia show with a guy in New York. And so I said, we should do it there. He goes, his wife ran it. And she said, she would love that. So I said, but I don't want to make this just trivia shows with it's usually in a bar, they have teams and it's very raucous and they're drinking. This is going to be 300 seats. So I said, I want to make it more of a show where I tell stories, show pictures, show videos. So that's what I got coming up March 14th. And I think that if we do it really well, which is kind of hard because we only going to have one rehearsal. So everything is, and I got a director and producer involved. I think we can take it around the country. Really, I think we could take it around the country because I think that it's got legs. Really, so And then I don't know.
Something tells me you're pretty good on your feet.
I could
probably pretty good on your feet. You might not have it all set when you show up that day, but once you hit the stage, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, because I'll tell you why. I do these Soprano cooking parties in people's homes. And they love it. They get it for a gift for their husband, their brother, their father.
Yeah.
And it's like I have a minimum of 16 people. And my food is, I always take seriously what I do. I'm not doing mozzarella sticks. I'm doing 20 different appetizers, a pasta course, and then entrees. And I'm there 10 hours. I do all the shopping. And
oh, my gosh.
Once the food is out, I tell my story, which is kind of unique, that you kind of heard. And then I'll do a Q&A. And those lead into more stories. So I'm going to tell those stories like I do at the dinner parties to the audience,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be
because you got them down. I mean, it's not something that you've done this your whole life. So it's I know I give talks from time to time on different things, and I've spoken in front of audiences. My major in college was public speaking. So I have so much material that I can just grab and pull upon that I feel comfortable enough that I could go into any place and they can go, okay, talk about X. And if it has something to do with what I've covered, even if I don't, I could probably bullshit my way through it anyway.
Right. You don't have to learn the script. You know it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the easy part about it. So that's what I got coming up.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. That's gonna be pretty cool. I hope somebody you should get that film too. Have some videographer do that for you too.
We are going to film it. We are going to film it because, again, we think it'll be a nice, make it a sizzle reel, and we could pitch it to different theaters. You know, between
Right.
pictures that I have a lot of pictures, a lot of the cast was at my wedding, so those are going to be great pictures. I got stories about that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, videos and stories and just the questions. And I don't know if we're friends on Instagram or Facebook sleeves, but I did a short little skit with this guy I played pickleball with, who's a comedian and a producer. Comedian, I forgot to say, he's a comedian. He wrote a short little skit, and I tell you, it's got over 100,000 views. This little thing takes place in an ice
Is
cream
that where
store.
people are walking in and you're behind the counter?
Yes,
Yes,
you
I
saw
saw
it.
it yesterday.
Very good.
It's
Yeah, very.
excellent.
Yeah, it was funny. People loved it. People go, "Oh, that's the Joey I know,
It's
the
really
wine glass."
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I said to the guy Dave, he was the guy. The guy Dave is the guy who was craving rum raisin. You know, if you know,
Okay,
if you
yeah,
remember.
yeah,
And I said, Dave, listen, I think we got something here that this could develop into like a streaming kind of thing or a show, you know. And what makes me so miserable, because I'm miserable in the show, you know, in those little
yeah.
skits. I go, we can't just keep doing one liners. We got to develop a show. But I'm miserable because my financial advisor told me to invest in a business, and all you're going to do is collect money, the manager on everything. I got a manager. He got sick. So now I'm scooping up ice cream trying to get a manager, and I'm gambling and losing. And I was supposed to have all this big career after The Sopranos, which never happened. And now I'm losing money. I'm living in Florida. So that's like the premise of this idea. And I'm going to call it I Scream,
Yeah,
SCREAM, because, you know, I'm so like
yeah.
mad I could scream. You know what I mean?
It's a. I mean, Larry David made an entire show about himself. Obviously, Curb Your Enthusiasm, which
Yeah, I
went,
love it.
whatever, 20 seasons, and it's. I mean, that stuff
And I,
works if you have a story and you have a rich life like you do with tons of different angles and tons of different, experiences. I don't know, man. I think you're onto a few things here with the theater work and the shorts.
yeah. Well,
Keep pushing them.
I again turn that into a half-hour show. The thing about Love with Larry David is that, like when I did those takes on that little thing you saw, I gave a
Yeah.
different answer every for like seven,
Yes.
8 times. I gave a different answer. He picked out those, but a guy came up to me and goes, "Listen, I'm a comedian. That was very impressive that you gave a different answer every time, like 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, each five, 6, 7 times. The one who I said, the woman says, I'm watching my weight. What do you recommend?" And I said, Ozempic. That was the guy's, that was the guy's mother. She kept laughing. And he would say, "Ma, you can't laugh." And so I'd say, "What do you
Yeah.
recommend?" I said, "Well, there's a spa across the street. There's a gym across the street. Why don't you start with that?" Or I'd say, "Why don't you take a walk around the block, and then you know, we'll start with that." Or and then I'd say, "I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I got no salad here or steamed broccoli."
Yeah.
She kept laughing. I go, "Listen, here's how I want you to picture me stabbing your son in the eye with a pen."
You'll stop
And
laughing.
yeah, you'll stop laughing, all right? So then she got serious. That's how we got the take. So,
And that's
you
perfect
know,
because it's a throwback.
but you know, it's all
Oh,
good. I
that's
got all
good.
that stuff thing, but getting back to pickleball, I mean, I play so much because everyone says, "Oh, have fun, have fun." Even when I'm playing golf, you know, I'm not a talker. I'm not there to drink beer. I walk the course. I carry my
Yeah.
clubs. Um,
Right.
I want to be good. I want to be very good. You know, I'm not going to be a pro, but I want
Yeah.
to be very good. Like they go, you know, he's really good. He could play with us. He could hang with us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only a year that I'm playing, but that's the whole point of playing pickle. You know, whatever I do, I always want to be, you know, good at something. You know what I mean? Like a chef
Yeah.
that,
If you're gonna do it right.
right. And you know, I want people to say. I mean, all of my reviews on Facebook, um, they talk about it. There's all these different groups, and you know, it's always about the food. My food's like, you know, the most important thing. If they don't like my food, and I do a wide variety of different appetizers, you know, and my clam sauce is, you know, uh, top notch. And I got one rule: no cheese on my clam sauce, because the Canes, you're not supposed to have cheese on like fish sauce. You know, you got to taste the clams, you got to taste the crab sauce. And sometimes I catch them sneaking in cheese. They sneak it under the table and they pass it. And I walk around, I go,
Those bastards.
I can tell there's cheese on it. I go, it puts me in a bad mood. It's a bad habit I have. I actually walked out of my Christmas Eve in my house one year. I was so annoyed that they put cheese on it, and I was gone for an hour. And they like were freaking out. They go, "Are you insane? You've got a house full of people here, and you walk out. You have all this food you have to cook." I go, "I told you I don't want cheese on the pasta," and they did it anyway. Anyway, it's a little mental. It's a mental thing. So, ask me some questions, brother.
Yeah. So before we get you out of here, talk to me about your vodka.
I met someone. I was there somewhere out, and he goes, "Hey, I'm a big fan. Would you be interested in having your face on your vodka?" I said, "Got to be something I like." And I tasted it, and I go, this is really smooth." And he says, "Well, because it's made from grapes imported from Spain. It's bottled in Spain, Madrid, Tempranillo grapes." I said, "But this is very smooth." And I said, "What's good is that I can cook with this. I can make penne alla vodka." And I do that in restaurants, when I cook on the floor.
Yeah.
And anybody will tell you that you order vodka sauce in you don't taste the vodka. So what I do is I like to spray the top of it with a spray bottle so they actually taste it. I hit about 4 or 5 sprays, and they go, "Now you taste it," and they go, "That tastes so great." I just recently did it on Fox and Friends. I did it for them.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and so that's how I did it. I said, "Listen, I would drink this vodka," and that's how it started. So, again, I know a lot of people. I go into restaurants and bars, and they recognize me. I say, "Listen, I would love to do an event here with the vodka. It could be cocktail party and so on." So it's kind of rough business. I mean, it takes a lot of time, but you meet a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think that's really what sort of when we tie it back to pickleball, that's what I enjoy about the sport compared to other sports I've played. Is you find a good group of people anywhere you go. Like you can bring your paddle, and you can generally jump in somewhere and meet some really cool folks, and have some fun whacking the wiffle ball around. And at the end of the day, for me, at my age, that's really kind of what it's about is building those relationships. And like you said, those are always you can take them where you want. Those could be really good networking connections.
Yeah, again, it's amazing. There's always pickleball going on wherever I am, and you can just step in. Especially open play. And there's a group, and they, they. Of course, there's a lot of them like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of the show," and I go, "Well, let's take a picture." I'm always the first one to ask, "You want let's take a picture?" Because sometimes people don't want to ask; they're embarrassed, they think it's a bother. Sure. And listen, I do selfies. I bang them out all day. Rick will tell you. So, but that's the beauty of it. There's pickleball courts everywhere. That's the beautiful of it, the beauty of it. And always nice games. And like if I played, basketball's hard to play a pickup game like at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
You can't play basketball really. Or I don't know, ice hockey for seniors or whatever. I guess maybe tennis. Yeah, I guess there's tennis, but 7 o'clock in the morning, man, pickleball courts are going indoor, outdoor. It's beautiful.
It is. It's a phenomenal game that is amazing. It's been around as long as it has, and yet it's really just started to capture the world in the last 5 to 6 years. My wife was teaching pickleball when she was a PE teacher 20 years ago, and I thought, oh, that sounds cool. Kind of wish I was playing it 20 years ago because I'd be really good now. Oh yeah!
Wow! Yeah. Really? Wow, that's pretty cool.
2003, my wife was teaching pickleball in PE.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like 5 years ago, I heard about pickleball, and wow, that's pretty cool.
Really heard about it. Then I thought back, I'm like, oh yeah.
There's one thing is that I got I'm collecting these paddles. I keep saying, okay, I'm gonna just stay with one paddle, but something else comes along and I get it. I just got it yesterday or the day before, It's a carbon, right? The CRBN. I mean, I want to talk, but I had the
Oh, the
True
foam.
Foam.
True foam.
Yeah, the foam. And I hit it. I couldn't get used to it. And so I must have about 10, 12 paddles. And the paddle I love most is the one that I got from Pro Drive. And I love the paddle. I love the handle. I love the leather thing. And I spray a little, stick. And I actually I had to scout it down, but those little like silicone caps that go on the butt of it, because I like to play with my pinky
Yeah.
wrapped underneath. I get more of a whip with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. I love the Pro Drive. It's like the best paddle I've been using. So there you go.
Yeah. So I play with the Pro Drive, and my sister plays with it as well. And it's the best paddle we've ever played with. And I think it's sort of a well kept secret. I believe that company is actually going to be pretty big soon because their products they're really good paddles, really good, and
Yeah.
they last. They last. So.
Oh, so I didn't know you play with it also. Yeah. Okay. Good. So.
Oh yeah, I love that. That paddle changed my game. I was like, when I hit that thing, I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I love it. My sister plays constantly with it. I have to play with different paddles because I review them, but I always come back to the Pro Drive at the end of the day. It seems so.
Yeah, there's some paddles like the ball jumps off it, and it's got a different kind of sound. And but this I've been having really, I really feel good with it, and so I'm going to stay with this paddle. I'm done with like trying different paddles. I'm done. I actually sent them back the True Foam. True Foam. Yeah, I'm sending it back. I got it 2 days ago, and I go, I don't like it. I was still disappointed. I thought I would. I'm probably good for other players. I don't want to talk bad about a company and a paddle, but the Pro Drive is for me.
Yeah, me too. And that'll make Rick and Carl and Doug very happy because they love that paddle too. And obviously they sponsor the Boca Raton Picklers. They're one of the sponsors. So it's all in the family, man, right?
Well, we're going to get Rocka Vodka. We're going to start sponsoring too in there.
Yeah, now we're talking, man. Well, hey, Joe, I appreciate your time. I mean, obviously you have quite the life and quite the story, and it's always evolving. I would love to talk to you in about a year, see where your pickleball game's at. Obviously, you have a ton of things going with the small theater work coming up that could blow up, and then your short, which I'll encourage people in the link in the description to go watch on. You can find it on Facebook, on his Facebook page, and follow him as well. All the links in the description if you want to follow what Joe's doing, because it seems to be something new and exciting every month. And obviously, if you haven't seen The Sopranos, you've been living in a cave, go watch it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. There are still some that haven't watched. I actually just played with pickleball the other day. Goes, Joe, I got to be honest with you. My kids love the show. I've only seen a few episodes. I was like, are you? I mean, this guy he's an Italian kid, knock around guy. You would think it was the last guy who, didn't see the show.
Oh, that's a crime.
But, so I don't take it personally. I go, listen, when you get a chance and, you'll watch it. But, well, hey, listen, this has been a pleasure, this Leeds. I enjoyed this. I was looking forward to it. I was going to say, we missed a few times. I go, I mean, we're going to make this happen. So
we got it done.
I'd love to, I appreciate you meeting you. I wish we were closer. We could have played together. It would have been fun.
Yeah, I'm going to get down there. I got a ton of friends, obviously, and we'll get together on the court sooner than later, and we'll have the drink of your vodka, man.
100%. Either New York or Florida. Either way.
Either one will work for me. All right, brother.
Pal.
Appreciate your time.
Hope you enjoyed our conversation with Joe. What a great guy. What a character. All right, folks, you know what to do at the end of the day. Hey, let's pickle.